And we're joined by Genpact CEO Tyagarajan. Tiger, good to see you not in the studio this
Great
time.
to see you, and that too in Davos. Wonderful to be here.
Absolutely. You know, one of the big themes here at the conference is uncertainty. Uncertainty about the year ahead, uncertainty about the next decade. That is right in your company's wheelhouse, dealing with that uncertainty.
Yeah, and all I would say is that haven't we been dealing with it for some time now? So a little bit, you've got to get used to the fact that that's the world we are in. Uncertainty driven by macro, driven by societal changes, climate changes, but also by technology and disruption that technology causes. So it's real.
Well, we're going to dig into that disruption when it comes to technology, but I got to ask you this because in your role at Genpact, you talk to CEOs all the time. What is top of mind from leaders today? Growth,
number one. Number two, how do I deal with disruption? But mostly from an offense perspective. See, how do I use disruption as a weapon to grow? Of course, I have to defend as well because I'm getting attacked by my competitors, but it's actually offense a lot these days, not just defense, and that's very important.
In this type of low growth environment, amid all that uncertainty, do you see a rise in corporate restructurings coming?
Oh, we've seen that actually for the last year, 2 years, where companies are redefining what their core is. So we've seen so many companies split. We've seen companies actually decide that they want to go down a certain path, therefore acquire more in that direction and then split into two. I mean, let's pick an example, the most recent one that got announced some time back, United Technologies. We're going to have 2 or 3 companies come out of that. We saw GE change in
big
different ways.
Of yours too.
Lots of these are kind of customers that we deal with a lot. Yeah, you're right.
It seems like everyone's going through some sort of transformation. From your viewpoint, though, what do you think is the hardest part for companies when it comes to the digital transformation?
People, Julie. It's always about people. What kind of change do people have to undertake themselves? What kind of change do they drive in the teams? What new skills they have to learn? What new behaviors? How do you get teams to work together? Sometimes some of them may feel, I'm going to lose out in this race and someone else is going to win. Okay. So it's always about being in front of that, not behind it, because if you're behind it, it's too late.
So it can create fear, it sounds like?
Fear. How do you rally people to actually make it a thrill? Riding a roller coaster sometimes is not that exciting until you're in it and you create the excitement.
Tiger, I know besides GE, one of your key customers is Boeing. What has been your advice to Boeing amidst their struggles with the 737?
No, we don't get into advice on those types of topics. Customers like Boeing are the kind of things that we do for them is not that dissimilar from what we do for many customers, which is how do you run processes better in finance, in procurement, in supply chain, in analytics. I mean, that's the kind of work that we do for a number of our customers. We don't get into the engineering side of any of our customers.
You know, I also noticed that you write a lot about artificial intelligence. Yeah. And when it comes to AI, it seems like sometimes there's 2 camps. You know, there's the Elon Musk camp that's going to be terrible, and there's the Sundar Pichai camp that it's, you know, the greatest thing since electricity or fire or what have you. Where do you stand on the whole AI debate?
So first of all, I want to say, I never want to stand in a camp where it seems to be against Elon Musk. How can I and how would I? However, I am an optimist. I am the glass half full person. My view is that AI is like a lot of other technologies in the past. Every technology has a good and a bad depending on how it's used. Clearly, AI is going to change the nature of jobs. It's going to automate a bunch of things. And therefore, people have to relearn things and it will take away some jobs. But that same technology is going to be used to create new jobs. That I'm a big believer in, and I'm a firm believer.
Right, new jobs, but also you're talking about displacement of jobs. Who's responsible at the end of this? Is this companies are going to be beholden to create jobs? Everybody?
Everybody, including the individual. I'll start with the individual. I'm responsible to relearn myself. But technology is going to enable me to do that much faster, much better than in the past. And the other thing I'll say is there are a couple of billion people who have no access to education, health, or microfinance. AI will make that available at almost zero cost. Isn't that growth for a lot of people who actually create that, such as technology companies and other companies?
Some of the biggest news so far is coming out of President Trump's speech here at the World Economic Forum. Really touted the strength of the U.S. economy. Do you think it is as strong as he suggests?
It is. I mean, every industry, every customer we work with who has a significant presence, either because they are U.S. companies or they have a big business in Europe, in the U.S., we see that strength. We see that strength as not just subjected to one industry or one place. I think he talked about inclusive growth. Unemployment rates are down, there's no question. And it doesn't matter which part of the economy you're looking at, whether it's the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest. It's not easy to find talent.
Do you think it's getting better, though?
Better in terms
Just
of...
a faster reacceleration. I think we've seen a tremendous boom in the stock market the past year and a half, big bull market. Do you think economic growth in the U.S. is accelerating?
I don't know about acceleration. There's a time at which when you look at the growth and say, I'd like this to be where it is and steady, that's actually sometimes better. Steady Eddie is sometimes better than acceleration because that might lead to a fall. Yeah. No, we feel, one, growth is more pervasive than concentrated. Two, we feel that in the customers we work with and their teams. And three, we feel that in different parts of the regions of the U.S. and not concentrated in one or two places.
You just mentioned inclusive growth, though. So I got to ask you this because I know you're a big supporter of women and diversity, especially on boards. Can you talk to us about that? How do we finally move the needle? It is 2020, and we still aren't seeing the representation that we would like to.
So I'll start by saying, Julie, it's actually easy to move the needle on boards. And we've done it. So now we have 4 of our 11 board members are women. That's easy because you just get the great women to join the board. The more difficult thing is how do you move that needle across the company? We've been challenged with the middle of the organization. So we've had a bunch of programs where we actually, talk about subconscious bias and train people. We talk about, for every job opening within the company, we actually make it open to, and we force women candidates to be on the slate. We've changed the way we describe jobs.
You should be the model for corporate America.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, how are these guys giving you a call?
Who?
Any CEO.
No, I'm involved in a number of the discussions, whether it's with Catalyst, and I'm on the board of Catalyst, with the Bloomberg's 30% club. Mm-hmm. So I think we share a lot of best practices. I've learned a lot from those discussions and we try and implement them. But the glass is still, on that one, half empty. So Julie, you're right.
Well, Tyagarajan, CEO of Genpact, thank you so much for joining us.